Good morning, everyone. Matt Gajewski here, back again talking college football. And today we have a single game breakdown for Thursday, week 4. It is Rice taking on Charlotte. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content. It helps a small channel like this a ton, so thank you if you have done that. If you want to leave a comment requesting a game for later in the week, we will have a bigger show with G5, smaller games. Anything we missed on the main channel, we're going to cover that Thursday or Friday. Will be Thursday evening or Friday morning. Last thing, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we have a showdown. Let's talk Rice. Charlotte, battle for the American. Got my Rice shirt on for this one. In this contest, we have Rice as a 2.5-point road favorite. The total in the game is 43.5. Might seem a little lower, but Rice is out there running that option attack with their new coaching staff under Abel. He comes from Davidson. It's a very unique, tricky attack to prepare for. Meanwhile, Charlotte also has a brand new coaching staff. They have Tim Albin from Ohio. A lot of success there. Has not been able to replicate that so far with Charlotte. They are 2-1, and it has not looked pretty. They lose to App State 11-34. They were soundly beaten that game. I took Charlotte in that game and did not get a cover, did not deserve a cover. They had 2 turnovers. App State only scored 3 points off of them, so it wasn't even pretty fishy. It could have been worse, honestly. And then they lose to North Carolina scoring 3 points. That game was a little better. Charlotte did miss a field goal. Now it was from 26 yards, so that is a concern moving forward with special teams. But they also had a turnover on down at the North Carolina 20. They threw an interception at the North Carolina 30. Should have scored more points. Still pretty soundly defeated in that game. And most recently, they beat Monmouth 42-35, which Monmouth is a good FCS program that currently ranked 11th in efficiency metrics on the back end for me. Yards per play was 7.8 to 6.4. Charlotte had 3 turnovers and 11 penalties. You're just going to play close games when you do that, but it has not looked pretty. Meanwhile, Rice, while they're breaking in a new system, they beat Louisiana 14-12. Louisiana's quarterback got hurt in that game, and they don't have a quarterback now. Kind of is what it is. Not that Walker Howard played particularly well in that contest before the injury, but only a nuance there. Rice had a turnover on down at the Louisiana 1-yard line, so they should have probably scored again. They lose to Houston in week 2, 35-9. Nothing really to see there. They threw a pick 6. And last week, they beat Prairie View A&M 5.8 to 4.2 yards per play advantage. Rice is never going to have these giant yards per play advantages with the option they run. They still soundly beat Prairie View A&M, who's not a very good FCS team. As far as injuries go, both teams come in fairly banged up. Rice, Artis Cole didn't play last week. Davion Hook at defensive back and Michael Daly on the defensive line. I'm not sure if they were holding out some of those players against an FCS team or not. Maybe. Charlotte maybe did the same thing. Sean Brown at wide receiver, Henry Rutledge at running back, Justin Olson at wide receiver, and Johnny King on the interior offensive line have all been hurt. DJ Burgess and Jaden McGowan are out for the year. On some other injuries, Charlotte is better reporting than Rice. Johnny King looked horrible in warmups. He was walking like an 85-year-old man with arthritis, so we're not sure on him. He's the biggest concern for this team, I would say, in this contest. As far as the edges, let's start with the Rice side. They're running an option attack. They have a quarterback who was previously playing a different position, converted back to QB to run this offense. They're just not throwing the ball very often, so that's hard to evaluate. On the ground, their attack has been solid, but not spectacular. Chase Jenkins is definitely a part of this. 3.1 yards per carry for him. And I think the skill position players are kind of right on average. They're not very talented. They're winning via, this is a unique scheme. Quentin Jackson and Dalen Alexander, both averaging 4.7 yards per carry. That's fine. The pass volume is low, but Drayden Dickman, Landon Ransom Goals, and Aaron Turner, they're not a bad group of pass catchers. I'm honestly surprised they're this good. I thought players like Ransom Goals were going to transfer out of this program, but they stay, and hopefully they can build something at Rice. The offensive line was projected as one of the worst in the country coming into the season, but we knew there was room for some improvement in the rankings just via the scheme they're using, and that's what we've seen. They're 116th in pass blocking. 60th in run blocking. The O-line metric you see on the screen is an aggregation of the two. They've actually been decent to start the year. 3 players grade out above average. Luke Needham has been fine at tackle. And they've played a decent level of competition so far, including Houston. So this is looking good for Rice. Charlotte's defense has been an utter disaster. They're 129th. They're especially bad against the run, where they allowed 4.5 yards per carry to App State. They allowed over 5 to UNC. They also allowed 8.4 yards per pass attempt to an FCS QB last week. So that is a problem in and of itself. But we knew there was going to be some volatility. Only 2 starters returned for this team, and one of them was Reed Williford, who is awful. But the biggest thing with Charlotte and their defense is just the level of player they're starting. Shea Taylor from Ohio has been a mess. Caleb Curtin at safety from Elon. Caden Schmitz from Ohio. It's just been a big problem for this team. And the higher recruited players, the transfers that came from bigger programs, are just not really playing a lot for this team. So they've been gashed in run defense. Their efficiency metrics are poor. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. Couple injuries, but most of those are on offense. There's really no excuse for Tim Albin and the staff to be this bad right now. I'm not sure. I'm not writing them off just yet, which is why I'm kind of hesitant to look at even a Rice side in this game. Charlotte's defense should be better than this. We had them as a better defense coming into the year based on their personnel. And looking at their offense, you can kind of say the same thing. This team has a better talent roster than Rice, pretty clearly. You have Connor Harrell and Grayson Loftus at QB. That's gone poorly. Harrell has a 67.5% completion percentage, 8 yards per attempt, 2 big-time throws, 3 turnover-worthy plays. The fumbles have been a problem for him. He has 2 interceptions. He's not running the ball very well. And the O-line hasn't done a ton, 32.5% pressure rate. Harrell's already been benched once for Grayson Loftus, who did not acquit himself well. They went right back to Harrell the following week. So what do we get out of Harrell? I don't think it's going to be the easiest sledding against an opponent like Rice. The run game has been bad too, and maybe this is an offensive line problem. Just to skip ahead, they were expected to be a top 4 offensive line in the American, but some of that was projecting players, transfers that is, to start immediately. They only started 2 of them, Jesse Ramel and Mason Bowers, and Mason Bowers is from Kennesaw State. Then their top offensive lineman, their only returner, Johnny King, missed their last game, and we got footage of him pregame. It doesn't look like he's coming back. I could be wrong. Maybe there has been a miraculous recovery, but it's not looked great. So the O-line's been downgraded, and that has stemmed to the running game. CJ Stokes, 3 yards per carry. He's a Michigan transfer. It should not be that bad. Rod Gainey and Cameron Smith haven't been much better. The pass catchers, Ejai Mason from Samford leads the team. Javen Nicholas is second from LSU. He's at least a decent player. Not a high recruit, though. And they've had multiple injuries. Jaden McGowan's out for the year. Justin Olson missed their last game. Does he come back? We don't know. See, it's kind of a tough road for Charlotte, at least offensively, to begin the year. Rice's defense is 96th. They've not been good in run defense especially. And 4.9 yards per carry to Louisiana, 5.6 to Houston. I can't really make excuses for those performances. Only they're playing decent teams. Through the air, they allowed 8.5 yards per attempt to Connor Wegman. The other 2 quarterbacks they faced were incompetent, so it is sort of an incomplete data point on their pass defense. I think it's okay. They had 4 starters back. 2 of them are linebackers. So you look at what they're doing on defense, it's a lot of inexperienced incumbents. They're not starting a lot of transfers. Like Matthew Arabasala from Sam Houston's not getting on the field a lot. But their pass rush has been shockingly good. It's been basically Tony Aniwanu, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. He's been good. They need to improve their run defense, which I didn't think was going to be a huge issue for them, but we'll see. The secondary is okay, and that's without 2 of their players. I don't want to say better players, but players I thought would start. Clay Wyatt, he had a season-ending injury last year. He has been eased into action, and Devion Hook has been hurt too. He was one of their returning starters in the back end. That might mean there's some upside if these players can return from injury, return to full-time roles. I'm not sure. But you look at what Charlotte wants to do, I think this team, I don't know if they want to be as pass heavy as they've been so far. 37%, 37th is their pass rate ranking, that is. They definitely don't want to throw that much with Harrell, but they've been getting crushed in games. Rice, their pass rate and pace are not going to change. This is their offense. They're running it whether they win or lose via the option. I have more faith in Rice right now. I think right now, Charlotte is the more talented team, but they have not put it together, whether it's via injury or whatever it is. But with all the downgrades we've made to Charlotte, with the upgrades we've made to Rice, the tricky scheme this Rice team is using, that's hard to prepare for on a normal week. I think it's Rice or pass. Our model makes this minus a 2.7, so we're not showing much value on this. I might outsmart the model and take it anyway. The total is 42.5. We make it 45. It's hard for me to come in and back a triple option over against a Charlotte team with an offense that I don't trust in and of itself. So we get there kind of via the offensive efficiency for Rice versus the Charlotte defense, but it's going to be a pass overall for the total as well. We might ticker Rice. I'm not sure on this. I think it probably goes to 3, and at that point, maybe I'm sitting down. But at a 2.5, I'm actually wrestling with this. But that'll do it for us today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any feedback, please leave it below or a request for later in the week. Until next time, good luck. We will see you later.